Steve immediately takes the comfy chair and then sits on the microphone. We also have Sarah Taylor and John Clifford from the original Conflict band, and we're absolutely humbled to have Georgia and James, Colin's children, with us, and Franky, his nephew. So come on stage, folks, and let's... Okay, just before we actually start going through all the stories and having the chat, etc., Jenny, the Rebellion co-promoter, thought it would be only right that we have some sort of toast at the end. So towards the end, there'll be some Prosecco if people would like to join us in a bit of a toast. So there you go. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for all coming along and joining us on the stage. Are we all comfortable? Or I know it's nice to see we've got... gentlemen, got a few gentlemen here. There's only one lady sitting on the comfy seats, but so obviously, you know, with Colin, he's all been part of our lives at some point or other. But I think if I could start with you, John, I'm guessing must have been the first person to get to know him because you guys grew up on the Cold Harbour estate in Mottingham. So when did you first meet Colin?
So Colin moved on to my estate, which is in South East London, and he come on the estate and he was shouting out Man United everywhere, which is mainly a Millwall estate. So all those little gangs on the estate, all getting together. Who's this Man United idiot? You know what I mean? So they found out where he lived, went round there, but he had such a charm about him, he talked everyone down. And then he started nicking scarves from his school and giving them to all the boys, yeah? And then one day I was sitting on the green with a group of mates, with punk rock had just sort of happened, and he comes walking across the green with Nevermind the Bollocks album. So I called him over, I said, oh, well, you're into punk now? And he's like, yeah. So I said, who'd you like? He's going to Clash, and I was a big Clash fan anyway, yeah? So we just got together and we just hit it off, and then... I was learning to play guitar, and we just decided we were going to do a band together after about a year. But
so it's all your fault, though, basically.
It's my fault, yeah. Well, there's another guy involved as well, Kenny Barnes. He was our first drummer, which he doesn't get really mentioned that much about. But so there was me and Ken were best mates when we were at school, and he was mixed race, and I was a tall punk rocker. So we all just got together, and it started from there, really.
Yeah, I mean, that started you on a bit of a journey. I think through part of that journey, obviously, you became part of the anarcho scene. I mean, for Sid and Zillah, I mean, is this how you met Colin? Because you guys are like oldest friends, really, in a lot of respects, aren't you?
Well, I first met Colin in 1979. We were staying at Crass and Poison Girl's house, me and Sid, and we used to go to a venue called the Triad, and there used to be a lot of punk bands playing there, and there was always a lot of skinheads turning up trying to start fights. And one day, during this thing, we was having all these skinheads running around, and suddenly I saw this big fight going on, and I went over to try and pull the skinheads off this person, and when I got through the 20 skinheads, there was Colin, fighting them all, 20 skinheads, only Colin. And I was like, fucking hell, what are you doing that for, mate? And he's like, have you seen my fucking eye? Because he'd been bottled in the eye by skinheads before, so he was like, it was bikers and skinheads, yeah? So there you go. That was me meeting Colin in the middle of a fight, as usual. But if it wasn't for people like Colin, I don't know how we would have survived those days. Because there was always skinheads fighting, always people attacking us, and Colin stood up for us like we did. So,
I mean, I think that's a good point of note, really, because no disrespect to some of the youngsters, and I'm glad, it's not like this these days, but some of those gigs back in the day were really bloody violent. I'm not talking about anarcho or conflict gigs, just punk gigs in general could be quite horrific. So, I'm glad, we're at Rebellion here and everyone's getting on and we're having a lovely time and it's nice and peaceful. So,
yeah, but it never used to be like that, yeah.
No, not at all.
There was hundreds of skinheads roaming around this venue just picking on everybody. So everyone was frightened, except for Colin, who was going to fight them all. And I think, was you there as well?
Of course I was.
Yeah, of course he was. But this was before Conflict actually formed. Colin hadn't joined Conflict at that point.
But every gig...
That's it, yeah, we knew Colin before, well. Like 79 before Conflict, yeah. So we knew him just as, like he said, this, this guy that would crack jokes, he'd make you crack up all day long, and yeah, it was just a great laugh to be with. Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah, great bloke. Like, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Steve, you would have been around at this point in time, and I gather Colin used to come up to Dial House quite a bit, and then obviously you eventually joined the band for the infamous night at Brixton Academy. But so, what can you remember about those early years with Colin, and any sort of like stories of them coming over to Dial House?
Well, I first met Colin, I think it was a gig in Derby. I'm not sure. Steve, they're doing great cheese and onion pies around the corner. And could I give out these leaflets? So yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, that is. And then I got to know him a bit better, and I ended up going down to Mottingham. And I was at your first gig.
Yeah,
right.
It was.
And Colin, I should have known, right? Steve, can you just stand behind the music, the sound desk? The sound bloke's just got to pop out for a piss. The bloke had gone home, right? I am now in charge of Conflict Sound, right? I'm like, fucking hell. I'm standing at Colin's house that night, and I meet Iris, his mum, and Jim, was it Jim? Yeah, the old man. And it's like, Mum, we just done a gig. I'm like, what the bleeding hell's that with you, son? And it's me. And she went, Meat Puddin' Harry, she called me. I was like... So she tries to fill me up with food. Anyway, Mum, I've got to play the cassette tape. Plays it on. The first thing you hear, we're Conflict. You cunt.
No, he goes, right. You mean, come on, you cunts, because we didn't start. It was like... And
his mum goes, oh, son, I ain't got to listen to bleating swearing all night, have I? It's like, right, okay. So that was my, start of my love affair with Colin. But, he would... I couldn't not like him. I couldn't not love him. That's why I always say we were like brothers, because he used to drive me to distraction, the corners he'd put me in. But on the other hand, he was such a lovely bloke, and I think what he went on to do with Conflict, Crass couldn't have done. They took it in that direction, and I think and was it for me? Not all the time, but I think it was a great thing, and that's the thing that he should be remembered for, is that he's really made a mark on this world for the stuff he's done. So, Oi, this ain't fucking Cockney Rejects, mate.
So, if I turn now to James and Georgia, sorry to pick on you guys. So, obviously, growing up with Colin, what was it like? And when did you first become aware that he was part of this kind of movement and band that a lot of people looked up to?
This works, doesn't it? Yeah. I first met Colin in 1997 when I was born.
Brilliant.
I think I was always aware. The iconic sort of big hair look. From a very young age, I used to call him Cheese String Head, because I thought that's what it looked like, and that. So I think I can't talk about you, James, but I think it was always awareness. I think we just grew up that was what happened. Really, I don't remember a time.
What about yourself, James?
Yeah, I agree. To be honest. You always have to have the awareness, but at the same time there's the separation, because at home he is dad as well, if that makes sense. So at the same time you see another side of him that's not on stage, but he'd go America 3-4 weeks maybe at a time, so you always know he's got that other life as well. You'd always be in the car with Conflict playing, driving around Eltham, so yeah.
Did you ever say, oh, Dad, put something else on, please?
Probably at some point, but no, yeah, that was the majority of what was on. So, yeah, we always had the awareness, but at the same time, like I said, the separation as well.
Okay, so if I turn to the youngster on the stage, Franky, so you're representing the youth here on the stage, showing us up a bit, So, when did you become aware of Conflict? And I'm assuming it's been a big part of your life. You're quite into all the punk stuff, aren't you? So, what do they mean to you?
Well, I first became aware of Conflict when I was 14. I was in my granddad's car, and I thought something clicked in my head, and I remembered my Uncle Colin's in a band. Let's give it a listen. Search up Conflict band, and what comes up is Statements of Intent. Yeah. I put on that first song, Increase the Pressure, and it all sort of changed from there, really.
Oh, fantastic.
see the effects, really.
Yeah. You can tell. So, I mean, going back to those sort of like earlier conflict years, I mean, John, I remember some of the gigs back in the day. I mean, it was kind of, I think you were one of the bands who were really kind of carrying the torch, not just for the anarchist movement, but also for the punk movement too. I mean, what do you remember about those earlier gigs and crowd reactions?
I'll tell you a story about the White Lion in Putney. Yeah, so we had Colin's dad driving us, right? And he's never been to a punk gig. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So we turned up at the White Lion, and you had to go up some stairs. Yeah, so we got all the gear out. We're taking it upstairs, and Colin went to me. He goes, "John, come down here, man. Have a look at this." Right. So we go down, and the whole pub downstairs is full of boneheads. Right, out to fuck us up, yeah. So we walked through, me and Colin walked through the pub, and all you could hear was, "Yeah, that's them." Right? So we walk out the other door, we go back round, and there's no one there, it's just us. So we go up, we go, "Paco, put your kit away, man, we're fucking off." Yeah. So we get the last amp into the van, and they see us. So they come running out. And Colin closes the back door, and I'm sitting on the amp, yeah. And this, geezer's come up to Colin, went to do a flying kick, and we had to go around tooled up because, so he stabbed him in the leg. and Colin's dad's going, "What the fuck's going on, man?" Right, and the next minute, this geezer's put his fist through the back of the window of the van, so I've got hold of his arm, and I'm going to him, drive, fuck's sake, drive. So Colin's dad's like, "What the fuck? This is my van." So we're dragging this geezer down the road, this skinhead geezer, right? And then I just let him go, and his arm shredded, and we're like, out the window. So that was like the British movement trying to get us.
Yeah, I'm going to interject here. We did find out at some point there was a campaign by the British movement, National Front, Leader Guard, were the ones that wear the suits, and they basically they disrupted every gig that had anything to do with Crass, Poison Girls, Rubella Ballet. Obviously conflict, yeah, but it was like for the kids. I mean, for anyone younger than 20, it was. We're going to tell stories about violence because that's what came to our gigs. We came to gigs to play music, to do what we love to do, and to sing to write our lyrics and to do that. They came to disrupt everything, and they came tooled up to fuck us up big time. And it happened for years. And it was only a while later that we actually found out that we did a bit of research. And it wasn't you didn't came out and tell us. Make sure you tell me.
I've told them, well done. Yeah, it's really moving, mate. Really emotional, for the moment.
Yeah, so basically, you're going to hear a lot of stories about violence. It's not because we're violent, but like Zillah said, if it weren't for people Zillah is rock hard. She's the hardest person, all of us, I bet. But if it weren't for people like Zillah and Big John and Steve and mainly Colin and me that actually stood up to these bastards, right? This wouldn't probably be happening now because they would have stamped it out. That's what we're trying to do. They were every gig, isn't it, Steve? How many gigs did we work at? There was claret everywhere, man.
Sorry to interrupt, Sid, but doing gigs in those days, was like trying to work out a military tactic. Or should we get coaches in for the punks, and all this stuff? I mean, it was just awful. But
how do we get to the train station quicker?
Absolutely,
where's the nearest exit? How do we get out of the building quicker?
But the funny thing is, you just made me realise that last year, Colin was here, and so I'm hanging around having a fag, and he's, "All right, Ixie boy, what you doing, you fucking skinny puff?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right, yeah." So rang about, "Have you heard it? Because it's all kicking off." I went, "No, what the fuck?" He went, "Oh, there's a march, so there's me and Colin, as usual, waiting outside." So, but I didn't know previous in the day he'd been involved in it. Yeah, I fucking smacked a couple there. Good old Colin, there he is,
Well, Steve, my first Crass gig, I got paralysed down one side of my face by boneheads at your gig.
Yeah, the Conway Hall.
So I blame you.
That's where Colin was.
Was that Stevenage?
Yeah, well,
Colin got
it's a Moonlight Club.
Fucking Moonlight.
I was telling you, I was saying we were with Colin last year, and he stayed with us, and we were just saying about the Conway Hall thing, where Crass played, and I don't think, did you actually get a play? Because all I know was there were about 150 skinheads came in, and they were tooled up, and that's when I was telling my side of the story. We was on stage, and we were trying to get the crowd up the stage, through the back door, up into the building, because they came in and they were just about smashing the shit out of everyone. And then Colin goes, that's funny, because I was on the other side where the Hell's Angels came down, and they didn't know there was Hell's Angel meeting upstairs, so they came down tooled up. Colin he saw it all kick off, and if it weren't for Colin on that side, me and Zil saving people on the other side, and the others, I mean, I'd say that it was they didn't come in and win. No, we definitely fought back. But that's what gigs were like.
Yeah.
You had to be prepared for it to kick off any time.
Yeah.
And it's Steve.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's scary.
But for James and Georgia here, I mean, were you aware of this side of your father, or is this all kind of like a bit of a revelation for you?
No.
I told you you'll be impressed.
Yeah, I think my dad was a very gentle and caring man, but I think something I've inherited is the trait of being ready to kick off at any moment. So probably no, we didn't witness it to the same extent, but
which is a good thing, I'll hasten to add.
Yeah, well, I think James and I, when James said when he went over to America, it's not like we don't hear what's gone on, so it'd always be like, oh yeah, he's done that again.
I like that, he's done that again.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same. I've definitely seen that side to him. Over the years, I've seen a lot of people get put in their place, whether it's in the car, outside the car. I've definitely seen, that side to him, but just not at a conflict gig. So, yeah, we've always knew he's had that side as well.
So, I mean, did the pair of you get to go to many of the gigs at all, though? I mean, were you taken along as children or just come along as young adults?
No, I mean, I think that's part of the separation, and something that came up a lot after he died was people saying how sort of humble he was about it. And I think that was the same with us. I think the offer was always there, but I think it was, I don't know. I mean, I wish I had have, obviously, like loads of people have loads of wishes they could have done. But I think, it was just something that we knew about but seemed separate, and I guess we respected that, and I think that was kind of, I don't know, I think that was nice in a way.
So did he sort of keep you separate from the scene, or keep that life separate, or did he just leave it to you to make the choice whether to, be involved with the band, come and see the band?
I mean, I would say he definitely showed the side to us. I definitely heard all the stories, shown the videos. Like G said, I just think it was just that separation. At home, it was Dad. I think, like G said, if we wanted to go, there's no doubt we would have been able to go, but there was no pressure to it at the same time.
He's probably protecting you.
Yeah, probably.
He knows what was going to go on,
Yeah, obviously I was quite young at the time. But no, unfortunately, I didn't get to go to any. Like G said, I wish I did now, but...
Well, I mean, hindsight's always wonderful, but, you can't beat yourself up over it. I mean, as I say, it's great we're all here and we're, celebrating him, and we're sharing a few stories, so, that's a good thing. But, I mean, I don't know, John, whether you remember the time up in New Cross, we were having a bit of bother with some people that used to go to the venue. We went up there in the car and...
Well, the Brixton gig, I mean, that came about because I was, Crass had finished and I was absolutely potless. I had no fucking money. There was, Steve, there'll be a slush fund when Crass finishes. Was there, fuckers, like? I had nothing. So I was like, oh, shit. So anyway, I'd written a rap song. And I said to Colin, do you fancy doing this rap song with me? And he went, well, actually, Steve, I've been thinking of doing, a gig at, Brixton Academy. Would you? And I was like, all right, yeah, let's do that then. So that's how I got involved with that. Well, that fucking night, me and Colin had to go and meet Chief Inspector Butcher from the head of Brixton Police or something. To talk about, look, don't have a big police presence there because it's just going to escalate the punks. They'll just get pissed off. All they wanted to do, anyway, we didn't get to see this bloke, but we turned up on the gig, day of the gig. At that time, the security firm that were running it were very, very dodgy, brutal bastards. You know, but look, Showsect have worked. I've been to a lot of gigs where Showsect work, and they've been all right. You know, so it's history. But when we turned up there was iron from Brixton Station to the venue, iron riot railings all the way, and SPG vans fucking everywhere, bristling with coppers, waiting to get steaming to the punks. And that's when it all kicked. You know, it just went. You know, and I remember, you know, at some point the security all formed up on the side of the stage to do us. And I'm like, leave it out with a fucking band, mate. Then it all kicked off. The security went, right, everyone out at the same time. The police go, no, one at a time. So there's confusion at the front of the venue. So it wasn't our fault. But I remember me and Colin go to the back doors. Right, let's get out the back way, Steve. I was like, all right. Open the back doors, and there's all these fucking coppers with riot shields and things coming in. I went, shut the fucking door, Colt. He went, yeah, quick, fucking hell, Wiggs. I was like, Colin, I'm not strong enough. He went, come here, you cunt. It's not good. It was a fucking nightmare, you know. But then I think back, and whatever way could have that conflict gig finished?
Well, yeah.
What, cups of tea, Mum? Cups of tea and cucumber sandwiches. You know.
But what you forget to mention, Steve, the Surbiton gig, right, is when they all turned up and they got a right hiding, the old bill.
Yeah.
And because of that, they was out to get us proper. Do you know what I mean? So that's why Brixton was a fine opportunity for them to fucking take us on.
The National Front have a campaign about us lot. Anyway, yeah, the old bill, the campaign on you lot. Weren't very popular, were we? The other thing, I'll just point out about being big. It's called Big John. I don't know why don't call me Big Sid, but the thing we were just talking about Showsec and security. Like the security at this place, they're really nice. Like they all go, all right, Sid, and they send me. But before we talk about Showsec, Showsec had we used to do. Me and Colin used to do security and bodyguarding. We did close personal bodyguarding and stuff. And we found out that Showsec, basically, they employed the nastiest, hardest bastards on the planet, and they were then hired by firms to be the security. So whenever time we came into anything like that, especially a music machine, we come in and they would pick on me and you every single time just for being tall. And but they never were like violent with me, but they were not nice. And the thing is, so we had the skinheads that were there every time. They had to put up with the security that we usually hated us, wanted to beat us up. And then they got the old bill outside. You'd be lucky to get home last night, isn't it?
Still here, mate.
Yeah. I'm still here, yeah.
But I think just to get away from, you know, we're talking about fights and stuff, but that's what the world was like in those days. Some of you may remember, you know, but in fact, we've survived it. But I think what Colin and Conflict, the band Paco, you know, John, Oddie, the various members who came through it, and believe me, there was a lot of members went through that band, you know. But it's the way that, you know, animal rights, and because of Conflict, that inspired a lot of people to get into that. And I think that's something that should be. But with that came, it weren't like, oh yeah, you can, you know, you protest against animal rights, but you've got to have a fucking fight doing it, and that's why, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the whole animal rights thing is a good thing to bring up at this point in time, because that was something that Colin was very passionate about, and obviously a lot of the lyrics were about it, etc., etc. I mean, for James and Georgia, is this something that he was passionate about at home in terms of how your upbringing? I mean, how did that rub off on you?
Yeah, I think we were both raised like fully aware. I think, you know, things have moved so far, but when I was in school, being vegetarian was just like, what is this? And, you know, I'm only 28, but yeah, I think we were both brought up aware to be passionate about different things in our lives. So yeah, like animal rights, but also like particularly direct action, especially at the moment with things going on. So yeah, that was never separate in our lives, and I think has definitely shaped us in different ways. Yeah.
I mean, James, do you feel the same as your sister there? I mean, what have you taken on board from your dad in terms of the whole animal rights ethics thing?
Yeah, most definitely. Like G said, we was aware of it from a young age. Even outside of, you know, just the movement, his love for animals in general, we grew up around pets our whole lives, you know what I mean? He was always taking and helping where he could. So, like G said, when we went through school, it was not unnormal, but, you know, we was probably one of the only 2 vegetarian kids throughout primary school and things like that, so...
I mean, did the other kids pick up on that at all, though? Or did you get bullied over it, or were they okay with it? I mean, how do they view it?
I don't think I did, but maybe this is another inherited trait. If I did, I didn't care.
Well, it's fair dues.
I think it's very much... I think something that instilled in both of us was like a very strong sense of right or wrong. And I guess for me personally, not really caring if I'm liked over what I think is justice, which I think outside of animal rights was definitely something that fed through. Like, I know, again, we've spoken a lot about violence, but it wasn't violence for the sake of it. Like, everything had a purpose behind it. So I think that's what's definitely driven me a lot, and the same with James.
I mean, that's good. I mean, obviously we've spoken a bit about early conflicts and your lives growing up with your dad and that, and the ethics he imparted with you. But through the ages, obviously, conflict went through a series of lineups. I mean, Sarah, we haven't spoken to you yet, and I feel very rude. You spent a period being the female singer for conflict, having followed on in the footsteps of various people. So, what was that time like for you, and what do you remember about Colin?
It was brilliant. I mean, the thing is, I used to be a fan of the band and followed them, and I met Colin years and years ago when we used to go down the Poly, and. And it was closed one day, and I didn't know them then. And we went to the local pub, and as we were leaving, he went to me, "Oh, do you want to come to a party?" And I was like, I was still at school. And I was like, yeah, okay, I've got to go home, really. No, come on, go and phone your mum and dad, like, we'll go to the party. And so I went along, and it turns out it wasn't a party at all. It was, John was having a romantic date with some girl, and he basically invited us all back, and we were all in the front room while he was shagging. And I got my car taken away from me after that. Yeah, you're welcome.
Well,
and
obviously made an impression on you.
Yeah, and then I've known them for years, and then obviously later on, like I think it was, who was in before me? I can't remember. Oh, it's just Mandy when she used to do her spoken word. Pauline was first of all. She actually had a track, and she used to appear with you guys. I think I can't remember.
Only at the beginning.
Yeah,
like.
but so I got invited to do a few numbers and did the last album before this one with them as well.
Because we had a band called Fear of Fear with Paco.
Yeah,
so it came about that when I came back in 2000, Sarah was already singing with me and Pax, like in Fear of Fear. And it sort of, because we're all mates and all together.
Yeah, big up Paco.
So me and Pax were in 4 bands together,
Yeah, I brought the boy with me on my T-shirt today.
Oh, brilliant.
Pecs. Love ya.
Yeah, so...
It was always Colin and Paco with me. They were like, it's a stand-up team. There was always Colin and Paco together. It's brilliant.
Yeah. So if we come back to the youth again, this young gentleman next to me. So for you, sort of like getting into the punk thing at Conflict at 14, I mean, did you get to see them live? I mean, did you see many live gigs?
Well, I went to my first live Conflict gig when I was 14, yeah. Colin got me in at a 100 Club up London. And that's actually where I met my band. We formed that night as well. And from there, I mean, I've gone to plenty of Conflict gigs from there. I've played with them as well. Me.
Yeah, we all played last year, innit? It was wicked.
Yeah, back in
Conflict,
November.
Rubella Ballet, Parliament Rooms, fucking great gig.
So what impression did that first Conflict gig have on you? Was it like a real pinch-me moment?
I remember being very hurt the next day.
He wasn't that bad a singer, mate.
Well, you'd be surprised.
My skinheads are in the mosh pit.
So, were you taking a leaf out of Colin's book there?
I mean, yeah, he's the one who really inspired me to be the way I am.
Is this our I'm Spartacus moment? Yeah, so, I mean, how, I think as we're getting close to the wrapping up time, I mean, how will you all remember Colin?
It's a cunt.
Yeah. A one-eyed cunt, but he was our cunt, all right?
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Yeah, our cunt.
He was our cunt, yeah.
I've got to say, can I just say, sorry, Steve, no offence, but I think he, in his heyday, was one of the fucking best. I don't think anyone could come close to him as a front man. He had this passion that just, you were like, oh my God, I'm going to follow you to the ends of the earth. And yeah, I'm going to go and fucking smash things up. And do you know what I mean? It was really, really compulsive. And there was something about being in his company that you were just on the ride and that was it. It was fucking intense, chaotic and fucking hilarious as well. Because it was always hijinks, always.
Yes.
I'll tell you a funny story. During COVID, no one was allowed to go out anywhere. Nobody, we weren't allowed to go out because I was ill, we wasn't to go out. The doctor told me that I'd go out. Nobody came out to see me, no one went anywhere, all the shops were dead and everything. And I remember texting Colin, I was like, yeah, they said they're going to give me a food parcel. And I got in touch with the doctor and the doctor said, you've got a bit of a cheek saying you've got cancer, so I'm trying to get free food and that. So that all went tits up. I told Colin and he went, he goes, well, I've got the old bed outside, make sure I don't come outside. I don't know how you go out of the house. He went, I'll see you in a minute. And I was like, all right. Half an hour later, he's outside my house. And you drove him, didn't you, James? Yeah, so, ding dong. I was like, who the fuck's that? He said, don't worry, there's Cole. Got 500 quid in his hand. And he gave me a little bag of shopping, special shopping. And he went, well,
special shopping.
Medication. And
You've got to get your priorities right.
And he goes, and I had a big, massive birthday card from him, and that was it. And he went, oh, I'll see you later then, and that was it. And off he went. And it was the only, and funny enough, Steve came as well, didn't you? You come, you knocked on him a ding dong, and there's Steve and Yona, and Steve had done me this great big, massive painting. that was during COVID.
You couldn't eat that, could you? Silver Surfer.
How did you get out? So the only two people that came out during COVID is Colin and Steve. That's mad, isn't it? Thank you, Steve and Colin. That's how far these people will go. See, when like we've all said, we've got lots of stories about him, and he's a great man, and we all go, he's a cunt, but he's our cunt, and he's done things. Yeah,
oh, come on, he's got his children here, mate. Come on.
We'd still all kill for him if he was here today. And when he came home with us last year, and I went over to the shop with him, and there's a West Indian shop next door, like a restaurant, and I was walking past and there was about 5-6 geezers, big black geezers outside, and we walking past, and they were like, all right, Sid, and I was like, all right, and Colin goes, how do you know all these people? Well, I lived there for ages. And I went, I'll go to the shop then. I went in the shop, I thought he was behind me. He stayed behind. I come out of the shop, he's all talking to him. He's got a big, massive glass of brandy in his hand. And he's all like king of the street. I could only been here 10 minutes. Like they said, it's proper character. Yeah, well missed.
Yeah. Right. So, any final words from anybody before we wrap up? Anything people would like to add?
I think I would just like to say, it's a real privilege to see how many people turn up. It's a very strange legacy to hold because James and I are just people. My dad was just a person as well, and I know that he meant a lot to a lot of people, so I just want you to be able to carry that with you, that you're all people as well, and that you carry the same things in you, and we're very honoured.
Thank you very much, and I think that's a very fitting place for us to end. So thank you everybody for turning up for this. It's wonderful to see so many of you here, and it obviously shows how much Colin meant to everybody, so that's absolutely brilliant. Conflict, I believe, are playing later today, so please go along and see them. Yeah, so the drinks. What do we do with these?
Well, apparently there's drinks out there for everyone, so...